to do is, if you're taking 1 year course, you'll take immediately the second course too.
Hello friends, good morning and welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing absolutely fine. दोस्तों, जैसे आप लोगों ने टाइटल पढ़ लिया रहेगा, हम लोग हमारा जो एपिक ट्रिप है, रोड ट्रिप जो है टोरंटो से वैंकूवर तक का, ये हम लोग अभी स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं. एक्चुअली हम लोग ऑलरेडी स्टार्ट कर चुके हैं और हाफ वे ऑलरेडी क्रॉस कर दिया है. हमारे इस एपिक रोड ट्रिप में मैं, मेरी वाइफ, मेरी छोटी बच्ची एंड हमारे साथ एक और मेंबर शामिल होने वाले हैं जो कि मेरा भाई है, मेरा कज़न भाई है, मेरे मम्मी के भाई का बेटा, जो यहाँ पे अभी स्टूडेंट वीज़ा में कनाडा में आया था. एंड उसको हम लोग ऑन रोड, जैसे कि टोरंटो से हम निकल के हम लोग सदबरी बोल की एक जगह है जो कि अराउंड 4 to 5 आवर्स के ड्राइव पे हमको पड़ता है. तो सदबरी जाके हमको वहाँ से उसको पिक करके हम लोग आगे हमारा जो ट्रिप है, हमारा जो रोड ट्रिप है टू वैंकूवर, वो कंटिन्यू करेंगे. सो लेट्स सी हाउ इट गोज़. और आप लोगों को मैं अपडेट करता हूँ जैसे ही मेरा भाई आ जाता है, मैं आपको अपडेट करता हूँ. ठीक है. हमारा पहला डेस्टिनेशन सूसन मेरी बोल के एक जगह है जो कि टोरंटो से कम 8.5-9 आवर्स में पड़ता है. तो हम लोग, हमारा जो प्लान है, ये जो रोड ट्रिप का जो प्लान है, ये एवरी 8 to 9 आवर्स में हम लोग एक ब्रेक लेंगे, एक नाइट हॉल्ट वहाँ पे लेंगे. और उसके लिए हम लोग एयरबीएनबी प्रेफर कर रहे हैं. हेलो फ्रेंड्स, सो हम लोग फाइनली यहाँ पे सूसन मेरी में पहुँच चुके हैं. यहाँ पे आके हमने एक एयरबीएनबी बुक किया था. और ये एयरबीएनबी एक्चुअली एक 2 bedroom एयरबीएनबी है क्लोज टू हाईवे या ट्रांस कैनेडा हाईवे. एनीवेज, हम लोग यहाँ पे पहुँच चुके हैं. ये एक्चुअली नेक्स्ट डे अर्ली मॉर्निंग है. और मैं सोचा आप लोगों को अगेन मैं मेरी फैमिली से, जो हम लोग सब लोग साथ में जा रहे हैं, सबसे एक बार मिला दूँ. सो ये है मेरी वाइफ, ये रही मिस शिल्डा. आप लोगों को मैंने पहले इंट्रोडक्शन व्लॉग में बताया था, शिल्डा. और ये है मेरी छोटी ओलिविया. हाय हाय हाय. और ये है इस टाइम मेरा भाई, इसका नाम है फ्रेडी. मैंने पिछले ब्लॉग में या कल के ब्लॉग में बताया था. ये हमारे साथ पूरे ट्रिप में रहेगा. इसको हमने सदबरी से पिक किया है. और इस ब्लॉग में अभी हम लोग एक्चुअली स्टूडेंट वीज़ा, क्योंकि ये अभी स्टूडेंट वीज़ा पे आया है, सो हम लोग इस ब्लॉग में स्टूडेंट वीज़ा में ये कैसे आया, क्या क्या प्रोसेस था और क्या स्टेप्स था उसने जो लिया, वो हम लोग इस ब्लॉग में हम लोग. तो दोस्तों, ये एक छोटा सा इंटरव्यू सेशन जैसा हमने रखा है यहाँ पे मैंने बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस जो कॉमनली मुझे आते हैं, मेरे फ्रेंड्स वगैरह या सब्सक्राइबर्स भी हो, या सब लोग मुझे जो फ़ोन करके या मैसेज करके जो पूछते हैं, वो बहुत सारे कॉमन क्वेश्चंस जो है मैंने नोट डाउन किया है. और वो सब मैं एक बार फ्रेडी से पूछ लूँगा. लेकिन प्रॉब्लम अभी यहाँ पे ये आता है, मेरा जो भाई है, हम लोग जैसे बेसिकली आई एम फ्रॉम केरला, सो मेरा भाई इज़ ऑल्सो फ्रॉम केरला. लेकिन हमारा जो लेकिन बॉर्न एंड ब्रॉट अप इज़ इन महाराष्ट्र, सो इसलिए मुझे हिंदी ज़्यादा कंफर्टेबल लगता है. बट वेयर एज मेरा भाई को हिंदी इतना कंफर्टेबल नहीं है. मलयालम इज हिज फर्स्ट लैंग्वेज, इवन माइन. बट इस कॉन्वर्जेशन को मैं एक्चुअली इंग्लिश में करना चाहूँगा. ज़्यादा करके मीन्स वाइड ऑडियंस ये ब्लॉग देख पाएंगे और उसमें से बेनिफिट मिलेगा उनको. सो इसलिए फ्रॉम हियर ऑन इट वुड बी इंग्लिश. सो प्लीज़ बेयर विथ मी. And okay, let's start with this small session. So Freddie, let's talk, why did you choose Canada?
The main reason me choosing Canada is my friends is here, my family is here, and the most important thing is the opportunity over here. Right now I think Canada has the biggest opportunity for anyone, despite being a graduate, undergraduate, or PG, or even the 12th students. Canada is having the biggest opportunity.
So if you say in comparison with other countries, like we have people going to Australia, New Zealand, or even UK for studies, or in respect of any other countries, why only Canada? Like study you can get in any other countries as well. The other universities are also pretty good, right? So why only in Canada? What is
I have my friends in Ireland, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and all. But if you think about the future, all these countries have a fixed time phase, like 2 year study and 3 year stay back, 2 year study, 1 year stay back, and all. And there's a huge pressure behind us. Like after 1 year stay back, there's a potential chance that we have to go back to our country, back home.
Exactly, yeah.
Whereas in Canada, we have a 99 to 100% chance that we can stay back here, we can grow in our career.
So what he's basically talking about is the chances of getting a PR or a permanent residency in Canada would be a higher percentage as compared to the other countries. I'm not sure about the other countries because I have not been there. But whereas from what we have understood and what we have researched is if you're coming to Canada on a student visa and then you get a work permit, and there are lots of other ways where criteria and other ways where you can stay back in Canada and try to recover, because I know we all are not filthy rich and we have taken lots of loans and everything, and we come back here to study. So we need to make sure that we at least repay all those whatever we have taken. So Canada gives you a lot of opportunity for those things, and plus there's an opportunity for you to stay back in Canada so that you can settle down in Canada as an immigrant and work your way up in the ladder, right?
Yeah.
All right. So the next question that I have is
Yes, lots of questions, and I'm not prepared for those.
I know. See, I've written a lot of questions here, but let's see. Did you approach any consultant, or would you recommend a consultant, or doing it on your own?
Okay, we can actually do it by our own, but it's preferable to go for a consultancy or an agent because it makes our life much more easier, right? So I actually approached my consultant. He was my friend actually, so he made my life much easier.
All right, so definitely recommended. If you have a consultancy, definitely go for a consultant because he might know a better process of coming in, and plus each year there is a lot of rule changes that take place. So definitely if you have a consultant, he will provide you with an updated information of what all steps are there or what all documents are needed if they have any changes. So definitely do consult a consultant. I will not personally recommend or give any name of a consultant in this vlog because this is not a sponsored vlog or anything. This is just a personal talk. So do your own research so that you can find out proper consultant, but make sure whenever you try to find out a consultant, they are a registered consultancy and they should have a registration with Canadian government. So there are lots of steps in coming to Canada as a student visa. So let's start with the first step. The first and primary step is IELTS. So let's start with IELTS.
Yeah, we need to have an IELTS score of 6.5 and so an overall score of 6.5 and an individual score of minimum 6. That's the basic criteria to come to Canada.
So that's overall score in the sense that IELTS includes 4 modules, that is speaking, reading, writing and listening. So all 4 modules 6.5?
Yeah, no, we should have an overall score of 6.5 and an individual score of minimum 6.
Individual score of minimum 6, overall score of 6.5 would be a better deal. Okay, so that's step number 1, IELTS. Now, step number 2 is attestation of all documents.
Yeah, we have to attest all the documents and just need to submit to the consultant.
So attestation of all documents or certificates in the sense, what all documents? Like, are we talking about only degree certifications or?
It's like what all you have. Like, for example, if you are 12th pass, you have to submit the 10th and the 12th certificate. Whereas if you're a graduate, then you have to submit the 10th, 12th, all the, for example, I did engineering, so I need to submit all the same certificate, all the remaining certificates. Plus, I had an experience of 1 year, so I submitted that too. So
Okay.
those are all.
So whatever certifications or max that you have till the time you apply, be it maybe if you are he's an engineer, so 10th, 12th and his 4 years of degree certification, plus if he have any work experience, so that will also be counted. So all those things
And IELTS.
and IELTS should be given for attestation by a notary agent or any authorized notary agent. Okay, so with all these documents, as he has mentioned already, with all these documents, that is your IELTS and the attestation documents, you take all these together and then you approach the consultancy where the process starts.
And most of the consultancy actually don't charge you anything because they get money from the college, right? So they don't charge you. If they charge you, then look for a better consultancy.
Okay. Alright, so that was the initial step. Now the next step, what is the next step?
It's actually, we have to choose the appropriate course actually, the course which you want.
Exactly. So basically you need to do your own research to find out what course would suit you and what is your field of interest. And for example, what course did you take?
I took project management.
So he has taken project management. And why did you choose project management? Like, what was the goal of getting
The main goal was like, I did engineering, as I said earlier. So project management is actually related to engineering. That's the basic management field where an engineer can actually go. So that's one of the reasons why I chose project management. And the second thing is that Canada has a huge potential in projects. So we can actually get job in project management. And the pay scale is too high too.
Pay scale is high too, for sure, yes. That's why we are working and that's why we are studying, to get a proper pay scale. So when you get a proper pay scale and you get a proper B-level job, then that makes it more easier for the next level, that is getting a PR. So don't quote us on it, but for us, what he thought is getting a project management would be a better choice. There might be other options too. Do your own research. But
I do prefer people to just go by your interest rather than just googling it and coming here, because it's not that easy when we think studying in Canada. It's actually easy, but not as easy, because we have to manage both work and study. So always do your research and always come here for what your interest actually, what your true interest is. Because many people are there who come here who randomly choose a course and they have no interest. Unless and until you have an interest in the course, you have a career in that.
So what he's talking about is doing both the studies and job. Is like when we come in as on a student visa, you get at least 20 hours of work permit. Yeah. So in a week you can work at least for 20 hours. So you get a lot of assignments and everything when you study here, and plus you have to get to do some work because 20 hours is the only thing that you get. And so managing both of the things sometimes becomes challenging, because sometimes your professor might give you a lot of assignments and everything. I'm pretty sure he might be getting a lot of assignments, but he's trying his best to work as well so that he can repay all his maybe his wherever he's staying, the accommodation and all, he can repay all his day-to-day needs he can fulfill by working for that 20 hours. So make sure that you can manage both the things and you can come in, otherwise you might struggle a bit. Alright, so the next step over here is online registration with Ontario College. That's what you mentioned, right? So what exactly we do over there?
Yeah. So once we approach the agency, they'll actually register along with our certificates with an Ontario colleges, where we can actually apply for 5 colleges.
Alright, so the max that is there in Ontario colleges is that you can select 5 different colleges, and selecting 5 different colleges, first of all, as we mentioned, we need to choose our course, what course we are trying to take, and we need to see which colleges are offering those courses, and then we sort out like 5 different colleges. Hopefully the top 3 will be the first choices for us, and then the cost for applying
is a single payment.
Single payment,
$150 I think.
Around $150. It might change, so definitely look into it first. But when he applied, it was close to $150. So for one application, that application includes 5 colleges.
After selecting all these colleges, so we'll get an offer letter. So I actually got 2 offer letters. So I chose one among that. So I got offer letter from Conestoga and as well as from Cambridge. So I just chose Cambridge.
Alright, so you get offer letter. So whenever you apply for 5 colleges, so whichever colleges select you, they will give you an offer letter. Okay, you are selected, you can come into our college or you can study here. So he got offer letters from 2 colleges,
Conestoga as well as at Cambridge.
Conestoga and Cambridge. So these are the 2 colleges that gave him offer letter. So the next is he need to choose which one he needs to go through. Like if he wants Conestoga, if he wanted a Cambridge. So he preferred
Cambridge.
He preferred Cambridge. That's personal choice. You can prefer your own college. We're not saying this college is better than that college. You can prefer your own colleges. Then the next step was payment of fees.
Yeah, we have to pay the fees. I actually paid the entire course fee, that is 2 semesters fee. That comes around 16,000. Canadian dollar. So you can actually pay by SEM fee or by the entire course fee. I paid by course fee. We have to actually first pay the entire course fee, then we have to create a GIC account.
So what is GIC account?
GIC account is actually an investment over here. Like it's mandatory by the Canadian government. Like we have to invest $10,000 over here, which we'll get per month. Like initially when we come here, the first month we'll get $2,000.
Okay.
Then after that, every month, that means from Feb onwards, we'll get $660 depending upon the bank. Like I took Scotia Bank, so I got $660 per month. Whereas if you take CIBC, you'll get $1,000 per month.
So that is till the time you get that 10,000 back.
Yeah, so it's like if you
But that depends also upon your course, right? If your course is for 2 years,
no,
then how they will give you $10,000?
it's just a mandatory one. If your course is 1 year, if your course is 2 years, if your course is even 3 years, you have to just pay the 10,000.
Okay, so no, like how they going to repay back like the 10,000? As you mentioned, $600 or something.
Yeah.
So for how long will it take to get
Unless
that?
and until the 10,000 gets over.
If it is for only 1 year course.
Yeah, anyways, the GST will get over in January. Because the thing is that if you're getting by $1,000, you'll get by 40 days, not 30 days.
Okay.
So if you're getting 660, you'll get it by 30 days. If you're getting $1,000, you'll get by 40 days. So eventually it will get over by the next January. That is the 1 year period.
Fees, as you mentioned, he has completed the course fees. He has given the initial course fees, and that course fees, for example, for him it was close to $16,000. But it depends upon the course. So each course will have a different fee. So do look into that. Whatever course you guys are selecting, it might be maybe cheaper, maybe expensive. We never know. So you do select and look into college website and see what are the course fees for them, and you need to create a GIC account, and then so that's 16,000 plus this 10,000.
Yeah.
So that's total of $26,000 that you need to Canadian dollar that you need to initially invest.
Okay. Once all this is done, we'll get a receipt from them. We'll get a receipt from the bank, as well as we'll get a receipt from the college. So once we get all this receipt, the next step is to create a statement of purpose. That back home, we have to create a letter. It's called the statement of purpose or SOP.
Okay.
So it states that what is the reason behind you coming to Canada, why you choose Canada, and after the course what you'll do. Like you have to come back to Canada. So you have to go back to your home country. That's what the entire letter should state.
So that means you are saying that you want to go back to your home.
We have to go back to our home country.
Okay. You don't have to mention that you need to stay back here. You need to get a work permit. You want to get a PR. You don't mention those things here. You say that you're coming here for studying, and then you go back to the same country, your home country, and you'll try to work there.
Yeah.
That is the statement
That's
of
the
purpose. Okay.
So once all this is done, get all the documents, and we are going for the VFS.
What is a VFS?
Yeah, VFS is actually the approval thing.
Okay.
Like every like for example in South India we have 2 VFS offices. One is in Bangalore and one is in Chennai. So I chose Bangalore. The main reasons I have family over there, so I just chose Bangalore.
Okay.
So our agent will actually collect all these documents. So the fees receipt, all the certificates and everything. He'll attest to the VFS office. He'll send to the VFS office.
Okay.
Then we'll have to take an appointment for biometrics. So
Biometrics in the sense what? Like all the fingerprints and
the iris and all.
iris and everything. Okay. All right.
So we have to take we're taking an appointment for biometrics. So we'll get it in a week time. It's not a time taking process.
Okay. So what's the next step after biometrics? Like, is it visa approval or passport submission? What comes next?
Yeah. So the next step is actually we have to pray that our visa gets approved.
Praying is the next step. Okay. Yeah, for sure.
So I think within a span of 15 days, 10 to 15 days, we'll get a letter saying that you are approved. You can come and you can submit your passport for visa stamping.
Who gives that? Who gives that?
VFS office.
So the VFS office notifies you that you are approved and you can submit your passport for visa stamping. All right. So once that is done, then the entire process is
The
done.
entire process is actually done.
How long did it take for this whole process?
For me, I actually started applying at October, during October, and
Dude, that's actually one of the better question. What are the intake dates? Like,
yeah, it's January, May, and September.
3 times in a year: January, May, and September. And you need to apply at least couple of months before. 2 months.
At least like actually we have applied minimum 6 months before, but luckily I got through in like 2 months time.
So that is also another thing that you need to consider, because there are 3 intake times, and you need to make sure that if you want to come in January, so accordingly you need to make sure, you need to plan when you need to apply, and make sure you check on the college website when they are open and when they are accepting applications, so that the work is done quicker. And it might take maybe a couple of months to get the entire process done.
Yeah.
It just take 1 to 2 months to get the entire process done. All right. So what is the stay back time? Like it depends. Like I'm sure it depends. Like if you're coming for a 2-year program, what might be the stay back?
Yeah, if you're coming here for 2-year program, the entire logic is that you have to study here for 16 months. If you study here for 16 months, you'll get a stay back period of 3 years. If you study for 8 months, that is 1 year course, your stay back is just 1 year. So what we have to do is, if you're taking 1 year course, you have to take immediately the second course. So you have to take a 8 months course. Then before you enter into the work permit, you have to
Apply for a second course. Okay.
So So once you apply,
But you can do that here. You don't have to wait. You don't have to go back to India and
no,
apply.
nothing.
So once you come in for 1 year course, like I guess you did 1 year course initially, and then before getting his work permit, he immediately applied for a second course, and so now it is total 2 years, and you get a work permit for 3 years.
3 years. Yeah.
So why that is important is because that 3 years is a time where you start working here as a full-time employee, and once you get a proper B-level job, then a major step of getting a Canadian PR or permanent residency starts. So why is it that important of getting maximum time?
So like, and the entire process may take more than 1 year for the PR application. So if you take an 8 months course, and if you have valid experience back home, if you have experience of 3 to 5 years back home, then 1 year course is actually sufficient for you, because once you enter into work permit, you are again write an IELTS, which is general IELTS. That score matters. We have to file over here. We have to create a profile in Canadian.
That's when after getting a work permit.
After getting the work permit.
So initially, what you wrote student visa before applying for student, that won't work.
No, that won't work actually.
Why?
That's an academic one.
So that's the two difference. So initial IELTS is an academic IELTS, and then after work permit, when you apply for PR, it's a general IELTS that you need to write.
And I have one more thing to add. Like some people have a doubt saying that what if he did a 1 year study, then we did a 1 year stay back, then we did a 1 year study, we'll get a 3 year stay back. No, we won't get a 3 year stay back. We'll just get 1 more year stay back.
Oh, so that means
then we'll get even though you study 2 years, you can just get a 1 year stay back.
It has to be continuous.
Yeah,
that's what you're trying to say.
We'll get only 1 time work permit approval. We won't get 2-3 times approval. So if you did an approval once,
okay,
that's it.
Alright, sorry. My little daughter here, she wants to join the interview as well. I don't know what she wants to say, but yeah. Alright, so because it's a 2 year continuous program, then you get 3 years.
Yeah.
Right. So, but if you break your course, like if you're taking for 1 year and then you're breaking it for maybe 1 year course, and then you're working for 1 year, and then they will consider it as a 1 year course.
Just don't apply for work permit. You can actually take a break for 4 months, but don't see. For example, my course got over at October.
Okay.
I can actually take a 4-month break.
Okay.
By choosing the next January course. You can take that, but at that time I'm not in a work permit phase. But whereas if you apply for work permit, then you have only 1 year. Even though you study for the next year, like after work permit is done, study for the 1 more year, you won't get an extension. You are just 1 year.
So that means what he's saying is, for example, if people are coming in for 1 year and then they get homesick and then you want to go home, you can use that time to go back home.
Get the 4 months.
3 to 4 months home, and then come back and then again reapply and then again study for 1 year, and then that makes you a 2 year program, and then you get a 3 year stay back. But instead, if you're not going back home, or if you're not staying here, just and then you apply for a work permit, then you are in a trouble, because then they will consider that it was only 1 year program and you get only 1 year extension. So make sure that you don't do that mistake. Anyway, so that was all his steps. So once that is done, passport submission done, then what's the next step?
Take a flight ticket, come here.
It's that easy, right? So just take a flight ticket, come back here. All right. And one last question. When they come here, like for example, you had family, like we were here and all, but that's fine. But for people who are new and they don't know anyone here, how would they find their accommodation?
Okay, I'm not sure about other colleges, whereas Cambridge, my college, actually provide a student residency over here. So when you get all things approved, so before coming here, you can actually take a residency suite.
Okay. So that what he means is, when you apply for the course, and when you try to find out the courses, when they give you offer letters, you can also check in if they have a hostel or a vacancy available, and then in that case you can apply for the hostel as well. And usually what people do is, newcomers, like brand new, they don't have anyone, they try to get the hostel accommodation as well. So by the time they come in, they don't have to search for a place to stay. Instead, they can directly go to the college and go to the hostel. It will be ready before they come in, and you can directly go in and check in yourself, and you can stay in there. So no need to worry about those things as well. But usually people don't stay in the hostels. Like, why?
It's actually expensive in hostels.
Exactly.
So you have to maybe see, for example, the Cambridge residency might cost you around $500 to $600, whereas you can stay out
per month.
per month. Yeah.
Per month, okay.
Whereas you can stay out with your friends for $300. So
Yeah. So usually the initial step, like when you come in and you don't know people, you stay in the hostel. But by the time you get to know people, you
Yeah.
can move out and you can stay on your own. You can take a private residency, and then it will be much cheaper and cost effective for those people. So have you been outside of India before, or was this your first country outside? Like I just want to make sure about the climate. I'm talking about in regards to climate.
I was actually born and brought up in Bahrain. It's a Middle East country, so it's actually very hot over there. It goes up to plus 45, 40 over there constantly throughout the year. Whereas over here it goes to minus 30 and all. So it's like completely.
So were you prepared? How did you prepare, and what would you suggest people who are coming in for the first time outside of
Actually,
India?
he was here, so he just told me to get all the thermals and all the jackets possible. As well as when I came here, he took me to a branded shop called North Face, and he bought me a $600 jacket. So I was actually safe.
All right. So the thing is, when you come in from India, from other places, and you haven't been to a country that is too cold like Canada, it is wise that you get all your winter thermals from India. Whereas when you come to Canada, you can purchase your jackets, because I'm not sure, because when I came in, I got some jackets from India, but maybe it was not of that higher quality, or maybe I got it wrong. I'm not sure, but it didn't work out. So I was struggling, and that's why I recommended him to, when he came in directly, we go to shopping here and get the jackets and everything from here, because it's manufactured here and they know the temperature over here, right? So get your jackets and everything, but get your thermals back home in India, because
It's much cheaper.
it's much cheaper there in India and much better quality. And just get a lot of clothes so that you can do layerings, and then on top you can have those jackets and everything from here. There are jackets, there are snow boots and everything, because it's a lot of snow, and sometimes the temperature goes up to minus 30, minus 20, minus 40. It's not every day, maybe once or twice a day,
Yeah.
right? Once or twice a week it goes up. But otherwise it's just 3 to 4 months of winter, and thereafter you have a lot of heat, lot of summer, lot of spring, and the weathers are pretty good, right? So what misconception the people have is Canada is very cold and it's hard to survive. No.
It's just 2-3 months of winter over here. I mean, we have a winter phase of 6 months, but the harsh winter comes for like 1 month or 2 months or something. After that, it's all good.
So you're hearing from a person who is from Middle East, who loves heat, who came from a hot climate to a cold climate, but he says that we can survive. So definitely anyone can survive here. So yeah, that's all about our student visa program, and I hope you guys have gotten a lot of information from this small session. If you have any other questions, don't forget to message me in the comment section, and I'll try my best, or we will try our best to answer your questions. He will be there with us throughout this journey for the trip to Toronto to Vancouver. How excited are you?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
So he came in last year, and now he is going all the way up to Vancouver, halfway through the country. And yeah, let's see how it goes. And yeah, that's all about it. So guys, do stay tuned to my next vlog. We will be traveling from Sault Ste. Marie to our next stop, that is Thunder Bay. So do stay tuned, and if you like this vlog, don't forget to hit the like button, press the bell icon so that you'll get instant notification whenever we are uploading a new video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that you will be part of our family as well. Alright, so until then, I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Stay safe, stay healthy, bye-bye, and take care.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Alright, bye guys.